Dr. Andy here. Today I want to introduce the exercises that I give a lot of my hip patients on day one, okay? So these are some stretches that we start to introduce with our hip pain patients really early on in their care because it's great to marry regular chiropractic and shockwave and dry needling and all the other things that we do with exercises and stretches. You get a lot better results, okay? For most stuff, we're looking at stability. We're looking at adding, some strength through there. But typically, early on with hips, we see and notice a lot of tightness in them. So we have to start to open that up a little bit. We want to start to stretch that out, see if we can get a little bit more mobility in through the hips, okay? So that's what we do at the very beginning, and then we start to add in more stability and also some strengthening exercises, okay? So really what we're looking for is most of the time we're noticing with our hip pain patients, we're getting a lot of tightness in the back, and we can get some impingement and tightness in the front. So I'm going to teach you one exercise for each, okay? Obviously, when it's in the back, it's, we get a lot of tightness, kind of like middle part of the butt, and it continues into this hip. That's piriformis, very common piriformis syndrome is the culprit. And then if we get tightness in the front, we're talking like impingement is a really, really common one, okay, or hip impingement. So let me kind of show you the first one for, it's a piriformis stretch, or a stretch for the posterior, the back side of the hip capsule, okay? So you're gonna start on your back. It's perfect. Start this first day every day in your bed, right when you first wake up. Do it a couple times a day. Each time you do this stretch, you're going to do both sides a good 30 seconds to a minute, back and forth. Do it a couple of times just as a, great way to start the day, right? So starting on your back, you're going to grab, the side that's worse. Let's do that one always first. That way you can kind of come back to it as much as you want. So let's say for right now, my left side is the worst, okay? I'm going to cross it over my right leg, towards the end or the beginning part of the knee. So crossing it with the ankle resting on top right there. And then I'm going to take my hands and grab the back side of my thigh in order to pull it in, and I'll feel a stretch right here, okay? So left hand goes between, grabbing the back side of the thigh, of the right thigh, and the right hand going around the back side. Just relax the head and pull until you feel a fantastic stretch right through here, okay? So lace those fingers, pull, good stretch in the posterior, capsule part of the hip joint. All right, hold that a good 30 seconds, and then you're gonna switch and do the other side. So to show you again on this side, we're going towards the knee with the ankle. We're gonna grab the back side of the thigh, interlace those fingers, and pull. And I'm telling you, pretty early on, you're going to feel a really good stretch in that piriformis, okay? So that is the stretch that I show for the posterior joint capsule. It's a good one because you're just laying when you first wake up in bed. It's a great one to do, all right? So for the front, this one is your very stereotypical anterior hip capsule stretch, right? Or really like an anterior hip joint stretch, right? So that is this bad boy, okay? You've seen it a million times. Let's say the right side is the one that hurts and the right side is the one that I want to stretch. You're going into this stance, upright, right over your knee and over the hip, everything kind of like, so knee, shoulder, hip in line to start with. The other leg's supporting you. When you do this stretch, your hips are lined up straight forward, meaning don't have a twist to them, okay? Also, don't have your shoulders leaning forward. You want to keep them aligned constantly with your hips, because the moment you lean forward or the moment you start to twist, you take some of that stretch out, okay? So hips forward, shoulders forward directly over your hips, and you start to lean forward, and you're going to feel that stretch in the front of the hip right there, okay? Good 30 seconds. If you got to support yourself with a chair, perfectly fine, okay? So I wouldn't support it over here because it'll kind of have you start to turn a little bit towards that side. We don't want that. So I would put the chair over here, grab it, coming forward, feel the stretch in the front of the hip. Then you're going to switch and do the same thing, right? On the other side. So a good 30 seconds. Again, if you're going to hold something, you hold it now on the right side. So looking, hips facing forward, shoulders facing forward, coming forward. You're going to feel the stretch on the front side of the hip, okay? So this is really common what we do with my patients on day one or day two. If we're going to find something, you know, where there's a lot of hip involvement, we need to open that up and get some mobility through there, okay? So do these at home, see how they feel. If you feel any pain, make sure you call a doc, let them know. You know, this is no substitute for, you know, getting a really good eval with a physio or a chiropractor, okay? So if you have any questions, send them my way, and always remember to live with passion, not pain.